Well, guys, here it is. We're doing Christian. I think it's been 3 months since I watched the last Christian. I don't even know what we're up to. But of course, we've reacted to 68 of the Christian. They're up to 75. We're so close to being done. And I kind of burnt out on it because, you know, I did 69, the 8 videos. But hey, you guys voted for it. Let's get it back in here. This is episode 69. Epic number.
What made her this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Christian.
Wow, incredible. Incredible stuff, guys. What you know, you never it's like an anime intro at this point where you're just like mind boggled by it, you know what I mean?
On January 28th, 2019, in the aftermath of a large number of My Little Pony affiliated creators blocking her on Twitter, Christine began using an alternative account to bypass their blocks to start apologizing to them individually by sending them direct messages of drawings depicting Christian Sonichu apologizing to the relevant person's pony persona and them accepting Chris's apology.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I understand correctly. Christian, because it's been 3 months since we've thought about this. Christine got blocked by a bunch of My Little Pony people, and the apology is to make a new account and then DM them a drawn picture of a personalized apology to their pony Sona, right? Is that what it's saying? Like first Sona kind of thing? I know it's super weird that Christine would do something like that. Also, why though? It's also super weird that you have a pony of yourself. I don't get that. What's going on here? What dimension am I living in is the real question. Very interesting behavior.
At around the same time, Chris's Twitter friend Tingtings privately inquired whether she was still in contact with Maker Nightfee, who encouraged Chris's ideas of alternate dimensions and interactions with fictional characters. Christine wrote that they were in a Discord server together, to which Tings replied by linking to the QB Farms thread, which exposed Maker's social media accounts and private correspondences on Discord, which showed her to belittle and mock Chris in private.
Damn, it really do be your own friends, guys. That's some sad stuff. Who would have thought that somebody would have pretended to be Christine's friend just to get close to them so that they can make fun of them? Who would have ever thought that? What a terrible thing to have, man. I always say this, and I know Christine's not like this, like has done some really bad things too, but could you just imagine like what kind of situation they're in where they have no genuine or real friends? They can't make any genuine, real like relationship connections with anybody. Like how horrible. Like that's just depressing by itself. I think that there's all factors as to why they did a horrible thing to their mother, which obviously they need to go to jail for that, and you know whatever. I think that they might be out on bail or something. I don't really know. You know, but Jesus, how terrible. This whole situation is horrible.
After this revelation, Chris wrote that her head hurt. Tings criticized her for not cutting ties with Maker Nightfee, implying she may get the same treatment as that from the Idea Guys, Joshua Wise and Stephen Boyd. Tings then blocked Christine on Twitter. It was also at around this time that the MLP-related creator, Mad Munchkin, who had blocked her on Twitter, also blocked her from contributing to her Patreon fan support page. Also on the 28th, Chris wrote a thread on Twitter detailing her thoughts in the aftermath of being blocked by many people that she liked. I am still working very hard to redeem myself in the eyes of those who had rejected me over the past week due to the injustices that had been brought unto them with misguided fears from years old and cleared, yet ashamed, mistakes I had made, most of which were manipulation.
To be absolutely honest with you, I think that Christine needs to make an iDubbbz level apology about her past. That's the only thing that could happen. You know, that's what we need. Apology with tears. Something like that.
Of those haters and harassers of yesterdecade who all still want to torture me worse into my own offline social life. I cannot and shall not rest my overweary and broken mind until I see these people liking me once again, because to them, all I did was offer supportive and kind commentaries, thoughts and replies.
Oh, sad. There's people who don't like me from like shitty things that I've done, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like you change and then you move on, but you know, I guess that there's desperation for people to like her, because it seems that she struggles to get people to like her. I recommend the number one thing to do to get people to like you guys: shower regularly. You know, not that big of a deal. Personally, I don't think you should need to wear deodorant though. You know, especially women love natural male musk. Just make sure you shower. You know, but deodorant attracts it attracts mosquitoes. You know, use garlic soap on your body. It keeps away mosquitoes, true, and vampires, which is very positive. You don't want any emotional vampires in your life. And then you can attract a nice, lovely Italian girl. They cook really well. And who doesn't love a beautiful Italian woman? Am I right, guys? I love Italians. They're good people. They make a good spaghetti and a good pizza. And the Mario movie was good too.
Time after time, again and again. And what falls below each and every positive note I leave, but a cacophony of misconstrued and twisted takes on my word choices and phrasings in my genuine kindness. I never was hitting on anyone. I never intended any harm unto anyone, and I certainly never meant to offend. And I never harassed. No, that harassment came from those cyber bullies who continued to stalk me day after day, month after month, year after year, since the year 2007, going on 12 years. When will the lot of you annoying bullies who fetish on hatred and harassment simply back off and let me live offline and online in peace of mind, and for me to spread sincere kindness and support without it getting twisted and misinterpreted as another freaking penis or fart joke? I'm long sick and tired of all of this grave injustice that continues to linger in my online footsteps. In a better part of this world, action does take place against continued hatred and mal speech. Yet those bullies and bugbears continue to use freedom of speech amendment first as their excuse and alibi for their continued abuse of the internet. That, people, is a perfect example of abuse to that which is amongst the amendments surrounding the Constitution. Our forepeople left before us in millennium, century, and decade past. And I certainly will not stand for any of that abuse to everything of the internet and the United States in the name of the worst mislabeling unto anyone, a hated social outcast. Hell, no! I continue to do my work with as great a stride my limited mind and body are able to handle, and I am reaching out for help in resolving the injustice of the misguided fears and hatred unto the innocent individuals that I like, who before now had a positive impression from me. In recent years past, I have been the bullies and bugbears' ongoing victim of cyberbullying, deceit, and blackmail since 2007, but I stand strong against those who had wronged me and wronged others into erroneously misplacing wrong unto me. I am a proud warrior and CPU.
Okay.
And I shall not fall.
So long.
And
I want
the help of all of my allies, near,
Christ.
far, and in our sister dimension, we shall win over the hate and harassment. Who is with me in agreement and strength and ability for the fights of our online and offline socializing freedoms? Thank you all for listening. Everyone who actually listens and does not criticize and demand every word I say.
Okay, so outside of the dimension shit, actually kind of speaking facts. I mean, absolutely. Christine is relentlessly bullied on the internet constantly. And this is just like a fundamental problem with people with disabilities have of just getting bullied because they act differently than people that don't have, or people with IDD, or part of the IDD community. Because they don't act like perfectly. They don't act appropriately or whatever perspective the people want to use against them. For sure happens, man. They're kind of speaking facts on that one. You know, I understand people justify it because they're like, oh, Christine's weird. But this was all before she did the bad thing to her mom, right? So, it's not on. I think that part of that behavior has to do with how hard they've been harassed and isolated by people. I don't think that that's a hot take. So
later on January 28th, Chaotic Chimera, one of the individuals who had blocked Chris, demanded that Chris and her cult stop harassing her and asking her to unblock Chris, and warned that if she were to appear on Chris's timeline again or be followed again by one of Chris's alternative accounts, then she would pursue legal action and attempt to get a restraining order against her and have her charged with harassment. On January 29th, Christine unveiled on Twitter her new 4-page comic, soon referred to as Sonichu Special 6, which concerned the recent Twitter blockings of My Little Pony analysts and creators. Chris-chan Sonichu confesses to Magi-chan that she screwed up in Dimension 1218, and many haters began sending misguided fears to creators on Twitter. The two then meet with MLP-affiliated analyst and creator of the TF2 Analysis YouTube series, Dr. Wolf. As Dr. Wolf and Magi-chan wait nearby, Chris-chan approaches the pony, Frigid, acting as a barista, and orders for herself a mix of apple and berry Fanta with an energy shot, and
energy shot or a little bit of a cum shot? You know, or a little bit of recycling. One of the many Jesus Christ. I can't believe people manipulated her into doing that. Oh my god. People are wild, bro.
Chan telepathically tells her to order a fresh pot of tea and crumpets for themselves. Over a
Crumpets.
cup of tea, Magi-chan explains that while Christine's soul travels between dimensions 1218 and C197, her body remains stuck at 1218 and functions under limited mentality. Recently, haters and harassers pushed her and the people she followed
Is
on
that supposed to be like some kind of a metaphor for their autism or something?
Twitter, which resulted in her favorite brony creators blocking her on the social media site. Dr. Wolf suggests that she needs someone with whom to talk about this, and Magi-chan admits that Chris has been venting to his spouses, Magi-chan, Crizel, Sylvana, and Mewtwo, but was reluctant.
Yeah. Well, when I think of a good therapist, I fucking think of Mewtwo as well. There's no better therapist than a Mewtwo, if you think about it, because they've been through a lot. And I think that the best therapists are people who've been through a lot because they can kind of understand and empathize with you. And, you know, I mean, think about it, they made Mewtwo as a clone to Mew, trying to make some kind of perfect scientific experimental weapon, basically. And what a sad existence, you know? I think that's a really sad thing. To understand that you were created with a specific purpose that you're not supposed to be able to deviate from. That you have like some kind of a predestined path. You know, and I understand the lack of choice can sometimes be a positive thing. Because it can, you know, take some of that choice away from you, which could be good. Sometimes too much choice can be distressing, which I think a lot of young people are dealing with now. But at the same time, man, like being born to be some kind of a weapon or tool, that's got to be mentally sorry, I'm gonna rant. What do you think the psychology of like Link is from Zelda? I know I know it's weird, but I've been thinking about that. I watched like Zelda timeline videos, and I'm like, wow, this person, right? My understanding of the story is like, you got like Zelda and Link and even Ganondorf, I suppose, but these are all individuals who are like they're all just basically constant reincarnations of some old deities, and they already have like a path for their future plan. And I get that they're special, but they're also forced to do things. You know, imagine that, like the hero of time. They did him dirty, by the way. You know, I'm just saying, like, that's got to be something that's got to be upsetting. It's got to be upsetting.
To talk about the situation with psychiatrists and psychologists.
Yeah.
Dr. Wolf and Magi-chan both mention a certain male friend whose name was censored, with whom she spoke freely over the video chatting application Skype, but lately he had become unreachable. Magi-chan then accuses the readers of disconnecting from their original characters, or OCs, who in turn got misinterpreted in the media, so he pleads for the people to reconnect with their OCs. Magi-chan then explains that his statement is aimed at the creators and voice actors of original characters who no longer communicate with their creations, which caused some misrepresentation. Magi-chan declares that neither he nor other characters like him were fictional and are in fact real, breathe, exist, and coexist.
You know,
He further states that the lack of
they
communication
exist in the chalk zone dimension. It's true.
is the reason why the dimensions of 1218 and C197 are merging. Dr. Wolf agrees with his statement. On January 30th, Chris wrote that she had just found out from some unknown parties that one Kibo, an artist, had blocked her. Christine claimed that the recent blocking was of minor importance, as she did not know who Kibo was, and reasoned that it was because people were joining the trend of seemingly everyone blocking Chris. She pleaded for people to not join this fad, and asked for Twitter support to take note of this apparent rising blocking trend and meme. However, Kibo had written on their Twitter account that Christine had followed their account, and was near immediately blocked. After a brief unblocking, Kibo checked their direct messages and found that Chris had written to them praise for their artwork, and pleaded for them to not block her like all the other haters.
You always think of the clones after the Republic fell. Yeah, the clones too from Clone Wars. What a sad existence. Yeah.
Chris was promptly reblocked. Soon after, Chris used her alternative Magi-chan Sonichu account to—
Hey, quick question. True question. Real question. Why do people give Black shit for reading tweets, but they don't, like, why don't you give Gino shit for doing the same, right? I mean, I love both the contents are great. I was just saying, like, you know, collecting all this information. Yeah, you're reading other people's stuff or whatever, but like you're collecting this information. That's something that's worth writing home about.
to write to Kibo under the guise that she was Magi-chan, berating Kibo for blocking his wife and increasing her chances of having another PTSD attack. Kibo then directly addressed Christine's Twitter thread concerning the blocking, and demanded her to stop addressing them, delete the posts, and pretend Kibo did not exist. On the final day of January, Christine made her Twitter account protected, meaning that only her approved followers could see her tweets.
Okay.
Afterwards, she proceeded to manually block all followers who she thought were trollsome. When asked about the mass blocking, Chris confirmed that over the course of a few hours, she blocked over 5,000 accounts by manually pressing the block button.
How? That's insane. 5,000 people. I mean, maybe she just doesn't know how to count or she's lying, but if that's true, spending hours to just block 5,000 people. And what a substantial effort to make. And yet all those 5,000 people, all they have to do is just make a new account. It almost seems like a wasted effort. You know, I understand blocking a few individuals, but I mean, Jesus Christ.
While going down her extensive list of followers. Among those she blocked was Jacob Sockness, the autistic individual from San Francisco who dabbled in occult practices and had fallen in love with Christine.
Oh, yes.
He protested
yes,
the blocking on his alternative Michiro Hutaki Twitter account.
What the fuck does that mean?
At the same time, Chris apparently contacted Maker Nightv and others in her group of enablers to let them know that Steve Harvey, host of competitive family TV game show Family Feud, was attempting to prevent creators from contacting their OCs and stop the dimensional merge.
I think the worst part about this is that I could see Steve Harvey trying to stop people from doing that. You know what I mean? Steve Harvey, first of all, I like Steve Harvey, but he just seems like the kind of guy who wouldn't want you to get into contact with one of your original characters. You know, he just seems like that kind of guy. I don't know what it is, but there's something about him. There's something about him. Quick question, though. Is Steve Harvey the black Dr. Phil, or is Dr. Phil the white Steve Harvey? Second question. Are both of those disrespectful to the great Steve Harvey? Because Dr. Phil's kind of poop, you know what I mean? Just questions.
On February 1st, an unknown individual joined Chris's Patreon fan support page to make a monthly pledge of $500.
Whoa!
This new pledger also asked for Christine to directly message them over Twitter. On the 2nd,
now you got
Chris
it.
wrote on Twitter about how she was handling the recent blockings against her.
I mean, you got it for $500, no? Or is that person just gonna like take the money back? Can you just take money back on Twitter? I don't even, or Patreon? I don't even know.
Note that I have recovered from the
Steve Harvey's a
anxiety and
judge
stresses
now?
of the
Oh
recent
my
blockings.
God.
I remain fully intent in
see that.
redeeming myself with each of those analysts in time. Meanwhile, I wish to assure everyone that I am mentally and emotionally stable. I am not delusional, psychotic,
Okay.
or anything similar. It remains a shame not everyone is able to see our sister dimension and those from there who are...
I'm not delusional, but guys, there's a sister dimension. What's interesting about that, though, is that if you're somebody that like disagrees with Christine, then they might be a little delusional. Which, you know, I guess you never know. Maybe there is a magical sister Chalkstone dimension. I don't know. Is that considering they have like, you know, higher support needed autism? The way that you deal with that is you have to meet that person where they're at. Might be like, oh, is that true? And then you kind of work from there. You don't go like, no, you're wrong, because obviously that's not going to make them. They're not going to believe you. So, just kind of an interesting way of approaching these types of topics.
are here in our dimension right now, but that will be remedied very soon through the hands of fate and destiny.
Woo, Destiny.
2 days
what?
later, Chris complained that one
Easier?
Michael Sherman from Alaska kept sending her hate mail.
Looks like a Mikhail
She had
Sherman.
only opened and briefly glanced at his first correspondence, but from then on, she did not open any other envelopes, and called for someone to tell Michael to stop sending her mail. On February 5th, Chris came out in support of Vic Mignogna, voice actor known for English dubs of Japanese anime series, who was being accused of sexual impropriety against fans and voice actresses.
Oh, wow.
She wrote
Well, that's not
that she
good.
also received negative repercussions, such as being banned from a convention and was falsely accused of the negative adjectives that were being attributed to Vic. When asked whether she was kicked out of the convention for sexually assaulting people, Chris admitted that she was kissing people on the face cheek, and at the time was not aware the gesture was frowned upon.
Well, it is. I don't know if I'd call that sexual assault. But walking up to a stranger and kissing them on the cheek is very uncomfortable and definitely a violation of someone's autonomy. It's not a good thing. You should definitely get consent for those things.
Since she was still learning the ins and outs of being extroverted and social. She claimed to have learned from her mistakes and was welcome to return to the Too Many Games convention later in the year.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
At around the same time, it was personally revealed
Why
to
would I jump that
YouTuber
direction?
Gibby, who largely made videos on updates regarding Chris Chan,
Yeah,
that
I
an
know
individual
Gibby.
posing as a
Gibby's
troll
cool.
got into contact with one Liquid Chew, a troll active on YouTube
Liquid
and Twitter.
Chew.
In private
Wow.
messages, Liquid Chew confessed that over a short period, he had ordered over $100 worth of pizza to Christine's house.
Well, so, dude, why aren't you guys doing that to me? I mean, if you hate me, what better way to show it than by buying me food that'll make my diabetes worse? You know what I mean? Send the pizza to my house. My address is 111-1115. I don't know. Is that even that's like a phone number. Wow, $100. That's obsessive. That's you're almost like addicted. Like it's to a point where it's like hurting you personally. It's spending so much money on that person. Unless they're rich, I guess.
and arranged for cash payment for the food, boasting that Chris was likely pressured into paying the delivery drivers and accepting the pizzas.
That's so fucked up. He would send people there for cash payment? That's so fucked up. That's so fucking mean, dude. Damn. At least pay for it, you know? Jesus Christ. And like pay for it. Make it a pizza that she doesn't like. Also, I feel bad for the person that had to deliver that pizza because now they're not going to get a tip. They're going to get screwed. Oh, maybe they will if Christine feels pressure to, whatever. Damn.
Though it is also possible she rejected all deliveries.
Yeah, I guess so.
On February 8th, Chris showcased on Twitter a
You think that they would have stopped delivering to her house then, though, you know?
Lego minifigure depicting notable brony analyst
Fuck is that
Dr. Wolf,
thing? Oh.
which she allegedly made over a year ago.
Wow.
Later that day, she uploaded a new YouTube video targeting the bronies who had blocked her on Twitter.
Hello, everybody. Christine Chandler coming to you live from home.
So what is the what do you think Christine like thinks that these people will respond to her? Like oh Christine dropped a 2 YouTube video about us. Let's watch that now. You know?
Once again, and this just can't wait. It's got to be shared while it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, do it.
There's actually a lot in common.
Yeah, me too.
Between I and those amongst the brony analysts.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to get this off my mind, because shoot, I have been trolled. I have been cyberbullied since 2007.
Damn.
And y'all didn't come on.
What is that, like 15 years? We're in 16 years. We're in 2023. That's wild. Did I get my math right? I don't care.
To the internet, and like a few years later, I've seen amongst your videos and on your Twitter and whatever. Well, like for one obvious example, and I'm gonna use their OCs to pretty much name it, but yeah, Lightning Bliss's creator, yeah, Lightning Bliss. So Blissy, yeah, listen, you think you've got the problems with handling the harshness of those comments going in and in and in and in and in at you like a knife stabbing at you, just and you're like,
Okay.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've reacted just as badly, if not worse. So much catharsis. It's all bent up in me and everything.
You know, not for nothing, but Christine expresses themselves surprisingly well. Obviously, it's a little bizarre from our perspective, but it's a decent expression of the way that she feels in communicating the problems. People just don't care. Like, people are just pieces of shit, and they don't care about what's happening. But it's a pretty decent expression of herself. Yeah, so.
Y'all know who you are. I mean, even Jasper Pie. You break the fourth wall, and I break the fourth wall, and we're funny. What time ago we take things with a laugh. Sometimes we can't stand being annoyed by. Oh look, it's got her. Oh, well, look at this here. Delivery pizza to the false address, and nobody's gonna pay for it. Well, you don't understand the pizza's my way. And I've got my problems with life at home as well.
I'm sure you do.
I've been on the floor of the 4th grade, leaving my friends behind at school graduation, having very terrible time in college here and there, and being banned from places, being liked by some, hated by a bunch, and then just wondering how much is really shining brighter, the light of good or the darkness of the hate. And it just grinds me up.
Why is the hate dark, huh, Christine? Racist.
Okay, well, look, I'm not asking y'all to unblock me on Twitter, but at least listen to what I am telling you right now. I've learned from my past mistakes and everything, and aside from the recent catharsis that I did after Mad Munchkin blocked me.
What is catharsis? What do you mean by that word?
That was the last straw in my back right there. Why can't we all just get along on the fact that we're similar? Because y'all have your share of bad reputations, and I've got all y'all's bad reputations bulked up into me. All right?
Sure.
You've been there. I've been there. You've been there. I've been there. You've been there. I've been there again. Come on.
I think that Christine would make an excellent job as like a voice actor or like a Muppet. I think that would be pretty cool.
I'm so disorganized and respond to that, but I think y'all get my point.
Sure, yeah.
We're all in the same
Yacht.
size boat
Okay.
of the fact that we got all these trolling, hater, harassing problems and things.
It's okay. Sure.
This video, along with her previous video addressing those who had blocked her, was soon deleted by Chris.
Why?
On February 9th, Christine, apparently along with her supposed
Why did she delete it? And why do people already have access to it if it was quickly deleted? People are obsessed with Christine. Holy shit. Okay.
spouses attended a cinema screening of the Lego Movie 2 and wrote in reflection that it was of good quality and shared some lessons she learned from it. Also on that day, she established a new alternative Twitter account, @CPU_quick_Sonichu, which for the moment was protected, in an attempt to quote-unquote jump the shark from the old account and into the new. According to her private message, a so-called ally would be screening any new followers to judge their merit, who was later revealed to have been former troll and Quickie administrator Marvin.
Oh, what a surprise that a troll would be get into this facilitating role of basically confirming who can and who can't, whatever. Can I flag myself? Oh, no, don't do that. Okay.
A Kiwi Farms insider, who was approved as a follower by Christine, later leaked to the forum site the first few tweets from her new account, confirming that she was jumping the shark from her old account, welcoming the small number of positive followers. She proceeded to follow many of the individuals who had blocked her on her main account, who, within a day or two, blocked her new account as well. She also announced that there would not be a me drama on her new account. A few days later, it was brought to light by Kiwi Farms user The American Hedgehog that the person who had pledged $500 to Chris's Patreon page had ceased being her patron, bringing Christine's monthly earnings down to $132.
Damn. So that they get like the money refunded too? Because that'd be fucked up. That'd be terrible. Promise how much money?
On February 16th, Chris uploaded a short video on Twitter starring her pony character, Gary Stu, named after the male alternative of Mary Sue, which is a fictional character archetype that typically is an idealized reimagining of the creator of said character, and was also partially based on the pony character Mary Sue, created
and also somebody who basically doesn't have to struggle at all in their character growth and whatnot. So
by Mad Munchkin, one of Chris's blockers.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Stu, and I know what to do. Everything I say and do is right. Just like a
sounds like me.
friend of mine.
Gary, it's time to come home. Come on, we got dinner.
Alright, honey, I'm coming. That's our Gary Stu. I better fly. I'll see y'all again another time. Farewell for now.
Also on that day, Christine uploaded a 15-minute stop-motion Lego animation focusing on Brony, Dr. Wolf, as a therapist for Chris, who discusses her personal struggles regarding the numerous people she liked that had blocked her, parodying the animated YouTube series A Moment with Dr. Wolf, made by Dr. Wolf.
So, Mrs. Chandler, tell me what's on your mind. Well, Doc, on our Earth in Dimension 1218...
I will say, I did enjoy the Little Big Planet ones. Those were pretty fun. Imagine Christine just focused on those and just made like kind of weird, like slightly cringy stop motion stuff or Little Big Planet content where they did that kind of shit. That could be cool, right? That might be a better usage than being harassed online all the time. But
I am very well known and famous for my creativity and my sci-fi comic books. And I have many fans and followers, amongst which in the fan base, they're trollish haters and harassers. More recently, though, they have been targeting and harassing the Brony analysts that I like. Really? Could not take the blocking anymore!
what the fuck is that? Is that a clear piece that's specifically intended to like do movements so that you can pretend that you're the Lego or something? Okay, that's interesting. I've never seen it before. So.
After years of being bullied, deceived, harassed, and blackmailed, not to mention being banned from a few places too.
Well, she went from being blackmailed to a white female, am I right? It's a silly joke. It's a silly joke. It was a good joke, though. It was a good one, I think.
Not to mention, recently, the psychiatrist at Region 10 made me recall that time in the 4th grade when the teacher's aide, counselor, and the principal helped me pin down on the floor while audio taping my screams and cries of anguish.
me up, let 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 me up.
I have a touch of OCD from the autism. Some of those analysts have OCD too.
Is that how that works? Do you get are those like comorbidities or something? OCD and autism? Maybe it is. I'm gonna look into that in a second.
In fact, they all have the same fame and internet troll bully problems as I do. I've been online longer than all of them. I have endured and suffered more than all of them together. I was a pioneer in all of this.
Kind of true, almost. Oh, if your life went a little bit different, you could have been a real good disability advocate online. Oh, individuals with OCD had 13 times higher risk of having a comorbid autism spectrum diagnosis. Interesting. Wow. I wonder if it's the reverse though too, because it's saying people with OCD have a higher chance of having autism. I guess that would mean that they would be the reverse as well. Okay.
I could be helping them all cope.
Yeah, wait. This isn't even stop motion, Gino. What the fuck are you talking about? This is literally go motion. They're not. Stop motion is when you stop the video and you change the position. Canceled? What? Fucking canceled, bro?
And kindness. And I did try to do that for them.
Yeah,
And now they all block me
Yep.
and close me out.
Yep, true.
It makes me feel like I'm falling into another depression again.
True. I feel that.
I feel like I want to just scream so much.
Yep, me too.
I'm pretty much verging on becoming suicidal.
Okay.
Hell, that's
Jesus.
not good at all.
It's
That's
not
really
good.
not good at all. Oh my, that is quite a troublesome conundrum. I recall the great number of my past patients who had each suffered only a portion of everything you alone had endured. And I agree that you and all those particular analysts could be great teachers to each other in a support
Wow.
group.
I'm going to be honest with you. This might not be a good therapist. It might be a little too. It might be a little too much. It might be a little inappropriate. I don't know. Maybe. You know, is that an inappropriate boundary to cross? Be like, no, you have it much worse than everybody else. Does that help somebody manage their situation? I feel like maybe that wouldn't help. Anything that might instill a victim complex. I mean, I don't know why I'm debating this because Christine quite literally is not a qualified therapist. I'm really just creating a weird fantasy where they have everything that the way that they feel and think is confirmed, but they are kind of correct. But you know,
very strong soul, heart, and senses for kindness, positivity, and justice. It is a major crime for anyone to close you out, because you are plenty capable of becoming a really good ally or friend for most anyone. Although, Christine, the analysts may see you as only one fan out of thousands.
Could you imagine that Christine wasn't canceled for inappropriate behavior, and then with this whole iDubbbz thing, you know, it actually became an ally, and they criticized Moist Critical, and then everybody hailed Christine as a hero, and that's the good timeline that we never got, unfortunately. That would just be so funny.
Thousands of others, I see you more as a peer of theirs, as you have created more than tons of what they call content in your comic books. Does all this make sense with you? Fairly, more or less. I do, to the best of my abilities, take others' perspectives and feelings into account, but I'm not always able to. I, the soul, am able to remain fluid in processing thought and speech, but to have to work with and around the brain.
You know what I think? I think I want sweet chili Doritos. That's it. That's all I think.
This body, my process can easily get interrupted. It is often prone to the autism. It can even fall into becoming seriously retarded, especially when it feels overloaded, overworked,
please.
very sad, angry,
Lord.
or upset, and so forth. It shuts off and leaves me disabled. If anything ought to be known about me by others when evaluating me, it's the stability and fragility of this body's brain. And when one also considers the adage, treat others how you like to be treated, I feel like if I stop my efforts to show the analysts that I am normally likable and cool to talk with and simply make them stop not liking me, they will
ketchup
feel
Doritos
not
in
liked
that
by
thing.
me.
Disgusting.
And they will feel at least a little bit saddened by that, as well as the torture knowing or thinking I didn't like any of them, and my not liking them becomes virally popular by the haters and the harassers all over the world, it would put an end to their popularity, egos, and especially their emotions, feelings of subconsciousness. And I can empathize with that. It would just be like a whole major end to them. It would just be so horrific and terrible. I would not be able to get over that. I would not be able to, because I did all that. My fault, my fault. Now let it continue on, not just because of my mentality and sake, but for theirs as well. I mean, shoot. Everybody hating everybody else is just a horrible, horrible, wrong thing to do in this world. And they think I'm not liking them, and everybody else not liking them, and they go down. It's my fault. It's just... So, it remains a quest for me to undo the chaos and getting the analysis all to unblock and like me. Do you?
Yeah, Quest makes sweet chili protein chips. I highly recommend. I have them in my house. They're just not as good, but I do have them in my house. Maybe I should eat some of those. You're right.
You all hear me out there in Dimension 1218's Earth?
Yeah.
I am usually...
That face looks so weird. Why would she choose that specific face? It looks so bizarre. As her Lego. Okay, whatever.
kind, supportive, and sincere.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever, ever misconstrued me again. Please.
I'm getting scared, guys. I'm getting terrified.
Indeed. Your heart and soul continues to be in the right places with lots of great care and effort. I too know how it feels to have misunderstood efforts weighed heavily against you. This discussion has been quite enlightening. Unfortunately, our time is up for now. I would love to discuss this more with you. Shall we continue on this next week? Yes, Doctor. I feel so much better being listened to. I fully understood. You really are great.
Well, you know, all jokes aside, this... Sorry. This action that Christine's engaging in is probably a really good thing. Again, an example of a positive way to express... I mean, personally, I don't think you need to record it and show it, but Christine is a very particular person, or a special case, we'll say. But overall, this is a good way to, express themselves. It's pretty good. It's actually a pretty healthy way, having this like internal dialogue, but externalizing it in some capacity. This could actually be some pretty good treatment for some of their issues. That's not a bad thing overall, I guess, from a more clinical perspective.
What you are. Thank you for listening. My pleasure, Miss Chandler. It's good to be helping.
Okay.
This was soon followed by a short, so-called blooper clip from the filming process.
Cut! Cat on the set! Hungry cat on the set!
What?
Kirsten made her previous Twitter account public again in order to encourage people to share her latest YouTube video. She then updated her followers with a series of tweets, restating that she would no longer be using her original account, and encouraged her followers to move to her new Twitter account, in which she will block all haters and harassers, and will contain less drama than her original account. During this
that seems to be a bit out of your control, Christine, so let's be real there.
early period on her new account, Christine continued to reply to individuals she liked, though since they were not approved followers of her restricted account, it meant they were not able to see her written replies. At around the same time, an individual created an online petition on the petition site change.org, which called for Christine Weston Chandler to appear on the clinical psychology TV talk show, Dr. Phil, as an...
Hey, I've brought him up before. Bro, I feel like Dr. Phil is just abysmal dog shit. It's one of those situations where, excuse me, but, I've been talking a lot about, especially with that Citibank Karen situation, virtue bullying, where you have disproportionate responses to particular things, and you bring somebody on not with the intention to actually cause positive change, but mostly just to berate somebody in a way that you feel justified in doing so. I feel like Dr. Phil is like the kingpin of doing that engaging in that behavior, of bringing people on and kind of berating them. So,
apparent means to bring attention to her
without really caring about the negative behavior, just to give them like some really shitty lecture that's not necessarily very helpful from a clinical perspective when they're supposed to be some kind of a clinical doctor, or at least that's what they're posing as. So
poor living situation so she could receive money and psychiatric treatment. Later, when asked if she would appear on the show, she wrote that she would on the condition that Dr. Phil or his representative personally contact her. Meanwhile, Chris revealed that she went on a trip to visit her aunt and uncle.
I mean, that would be literally what would have to happen. They'd have to reach out to you first. So yeah.
in their new home, where she
okay.
stayed for about an hour. On February 22nd, Christine claimed that she was over the whole blocking fiasco and did not care anymore about those who blocked her, leaving them to live their lives uninterrupted.
That's good.
Kiwi Farms user VU0CM kept an up-to-date spreadsheet of individuals who Chris followed but
Why?
had blocked her across all her Twitter accounts.
Why? Why do this? Why would you do this? Like, what possesses you to figure out every single person that Christine follows and then create a spreadsheet about who blocked them? This is so obsessive. This is unhinged, eternally online obsessive behavior. If you did this in the real world, you'd go to jail for stalking. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Holy moly.
Updating forum readers that by the 22nd, it appeared that all the people who had blocked her original Twitter account had now also blocked her new restricted account.
Okay.
Later that day, when asked by the official account of the My Little Pony convention,
I didn't
BronyCon, for
figure that
suggestions on who could be a great community guest at the next convention, Chris volunteered herself, as she could appear to better explain herself to the people in the community who had misread her as intimidating, insane, scary, creepy, and offensive.
Some
On
people
February-
like spreadsheets. Yes, some people like spreadsheets, but that doesn't mean that you make a comprehensive spreadsheet about a person, the people who have and haven't blocked a particular person. It's bizarre.
24th, Chris celebrated her 37th birthday,
Wow.
sharing on Twitter a photo of her pink
Jesus,
cake
37.
and her mother, Barbara, who had allegedly sung the happy birthday song to her.
I heard that Christian actually calls her mother Pink Cake. It's their pet name for it. That's inappropriate. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay.
On that same day, Christine shared a widely known panel from an early issue of the Sonichu comic book series, which featured an incomprehensible joke uttered by Sonichu. Chris elected this day to explain what the quote meant on Twitter. Please, feel free to screen cap and share the following in this tweet. I ended up sharing a partial joke in the Stone Age line. I figured it was a simple joke. The whole joke is, you don't have to tell me twice, but during the Stone Age, you tell a caveman more than twice. Later on, in reply to a Twitter
Is the joke that cavemen are stupid and you have to tell them multiple times? But I'm not understanding the point of the joke. I guess I get the joke. It's just don't understand the point of it.
argument between a staunch supporter of her goddess status and a critic of her gender and delusions. Chris wrote that she was a woman and a goddess, and would soon prove her critic wrong when they would
boss.
finally meet their original character in person.
Girl boss, baby.
She later returned to Twitter to state that after watching some episodes of the TV talk show, Dr. Phil, she chose not to appear as a guest since she found Dr. Phil to be pretentious and did not want drama in her life.
Wow, kind of based. Christine's like best arc of herself. Okay, a little bit interesting. Kind of true.
That was typical on the show. She suggested that she would rather have an unbiased psychiatric conversation.
I do also find it interesting though that Christine thought that it was like a choice to make, like as if there was ever a proposition. Although I feel like Dr. Phil would berate this person. I'm not gonna lie, especially at the time, you know.
The likes of Dr. Wolf instead. On February 26th, Chris tweeted that she saw the trailer for the live-action Pokemon movie, Detective Pikachu.
Is that what people are talking about? Where they're like, "Oh, that girl has a Mewtwo build, like a big, dumpy, wide hips." It's kind of hot, actually. It's a nice build. It's a decent build. That's a good one. I'm operating with what I call the boomer build, not because I'm old, but because I look like a boomer from Left 4 Dead. Pretty good game, by the way. Not bad, at least. You know, pretty decent stuff. Definitely better than Back 4 Blood, am I right? Like, what were you guys thinking? You guys really thought you could compete with Left 4 Dead? So silly. So silly, guys. You guys are so silly. Stinky.
And
good.
revealed that the Pokemon featured in it, Mewtwo, her alleged husband, apparently told her that he did participate in the events depicted in the movie, though some aspects were exaggerated. The next day, a couple using a shared Twitter account, Sarah and Steven, asked Christine if it were
Wait,
alright for them to make a custom
What is that? What?
featured in a trailer for of Dr. Wolf instead.
What?
On February 26th, Chris tweeted that she saw the trailer for the live-action Pokemon movie, Detective Pikachu,
Okay.
and revealed that the Pokemon featured in it, Mewtwo, her alleged husband, apparently told her that he did participate in the events depicted in the movie, though some aspects were exaggerated.
Okay, so I thought she was saying that her husband was the actor who played himself in the movie. No. So what she's saying is that actually happened, but some of it is disproportionate. Some of it's sensationalized. Like what? I almost believe her because it's so believable. Like that is because like of course if it's a movie, if it actually is depicting a real life event, a chalk zone event we'll call it, it would be sensationalized. So interesting. Thinking about it now, you guys should go watch Barry on HBO. It's phenomenal. This season's incredible. I think next episode's the last one. I can't wait for it.
Next day,
I'm
a
at the
couple
airport
using
playing-
a shared
scheduled
Twitter
to land at
account,
9:10.
Sarah
Gotcha.
and Steven,
All right, text me when
asked
you're landing and you
Christine
want me to
if it
leave.
were alright for them to make a custom Rose True medallion out of Crayola model magic clay. Chris wrote back that she approved the craft, and even offered to sign it for them the next time they met, possibly implying that they had met before. Sarah and Steve had also on a separate occasion expressed their interest in joining Chris's Patreon page, wanting to possess signed copies of the entire Sonichu Comics catalog. By this point, her Patreon had received a gradual
Wow, that's a huge increase. $470 a month. Oh, how much would that cost though for them to like send those out? That's fucking crazy.
increase of patrons over the previous couple of weeks, reaching 30
Chrissy's got
patrons,
the chalk,
pledging
the
a
chalk,
total
the
of
chalk, chalk,
$478 per month.
Wow.
On March 1st, Chris announced that she received plush dolls depicting MLP characters Princess Luna and Celestia, with whom she had allegedly communicated. On the 2nd, she replied to billionaire business magnate and CEO and chief engineer of spacecraft manufacturer SpaceX, Elon Musk, partially agreeing with his theory that everyone was someone else's original creation living in a video game. She clarified that it was the same universe that was occupied by most of all OCs, regardless of the media via which they were conceived.
Watching this video and seeing that these interactions happen more recently than like I could have ever imagined is like we're almost like we're living in history right now. You know what I mean? Like we have a documentary on something that is like happening right now, or is happening like somewhat in our current-ish timeline that we could have an impact on Christine. Christine is talking to Elon Musk. I feel like I'm in school and that shouldn't be a thing. You know how you learn history, but you don't learn it like in a linear capacity. So, you know, you'll go through like, oh, here's World War I and II. Of course, those are linear, but then you'll like jump back to this area and this area, and you'll kind of just go all over the place, and you learn it in weird capacities, and you don't realize that like some people like Rosa Parks and like fucking, I don't know, some other person were alive at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, Christine and fucking Elon Musk are like alive at the same. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just it doesn't operate. It just makes sense. You know, why jump that direction? Holy fuck! It's just bizarre to me. Yeah.
She then thanked the TV sitcom The Big Bang Theory for mentioning Musk's theory and bringing it to her attention.
Musk's theory.
Later that day, Sarah and Steve posted a photo of the Rose True medallion they created.
Does she think that Elon Musk created the theory and that the Big Bang Theory just displayed it? Oh, I didn't mean to do it, son. That's annoying.
Along with the Nintendo Switch game console,
I'm gonna
which
send
they
you.
planned to send to Christine. Soon after, the couple revealed that they began pledging $100 per month to Chris's Patreon, looking forward to receiving autographed Sonichu comics and hopefully a personalized video. On March 4th,
Okay.
Chris shared a blue Ford Focus, which she customized with Commodore 64 computer and her CPU Blueheart insignia and Sonichu
Wow, how'd
license
she
plate
afford
that
that?
could be downloaded for players of the
Just kidding.
Xbox One game Forza Horizon 4. 2 days later, Chris changed her Twitter profile picture to a depiction of Chris-chan Sonichu, drawn by maker Nightfee. On March
Guy's got
7th,
tits.
she received the Nintendo
Kinda
Switch
bad.
sent to her by Sarah and Steve as a present. She showcased the unboxing of the device in a video uploaded that same day.
Hi, everybody. Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again. In my house coat. But anyway, not about that, because we got a
You
special
can see some of Christine's comments on some of the Geno videos. No way.
delivery today. These lovely bots.
One of the letters from jail, she said she needed to get in contact with Geno. Oh my god. Guys, this is the correct timeline. Let me just tell you.
Lovely bots suspected from the certain fan. The bots came a bit damaged, so you can pretty much see what we're getting. Just a little bit. So let's open this thing the rest of the way. Oh, look. There's Sylvia.
Hi, sweetie. Oop.
Hi, Schmanley.
You camera shy? What are you, camera shy? You're so silly.
Why are you so silly? Silly Sylvia, I love you.
What's that? Oh. It's a surprise gift. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Look at that. That's pretty. Where's the look? Yeah, it's a change purse. It's a pretty little change purse. I like that. Anyway, yep. There it is, a Nintendo Switch. Yay! Oh, hey, look at that. Includes $35 on the eShop. So groovy, I can get started. Yay, Nintendo Switch. Yay!
Yay.
Merry Christmas present.
Yay.
Merry Christmas present. Boing. Doo-doo. It's a thing.
Yay.
And nice little letter. I don't know if everybody wants to read that, but yeah. It's safe to read, but oh well, it doesn't have their address on it, so you can pause and read that, whatever.
Wait, what the fuck? Bro, sis, come on. You can't do that.
Doo-doo. It's a thing. And nice little letter. I don't know if everybody wants to read that, but yeah.
Did you read it? That's the real question. I don't really give a shit if you want to stop it to read it, to whatever. But did you read it? Didn't they just buy you a Nintendo Switch? The least you could do is read that. Yay. Right? I mean, I get it. When I was young, you know, we used to open the card and it's like, "Where's the money?" Now, then you got to learn to that. You got to read it because the thought matters. You know. What are you doing, Christine?
Safe to read, but oh well, it doesn't have their address on it, so you can pause and read that, whatever. So, Joy-Con things. So, finally. Yeah, I also went ahead and bought this a couple of days ago. So, yeah, with that, I'll end up
Okay.
placing these on there. Hey, Nintendo, how about DLCing us in? Sanchu, Rosie, and me, Christian Sanchu.
How about not doing that? Yeah.
It's your kitty, it's Lauren. It's your kitty. Why are you so silly?
Oh, see, she likes the empty box. Wanna go and eat the box? Here you go. Okay, so there you go. Unboxing. I'm gonna mess around with this and update and all that, so y'all saw that. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good day.
The letter, which Chris
Thanks.
briefly featured on camera, read in full. Sarah and I are both fans of your content, but I'd like us to become best friends over time. Do not read what's below on video or mention it online. Us moving to Virginia will be a life-changing event, and you
Oh
will
my
become
God.
our only friend around. This letter was going to be about our plans to move and help you, but we already talked on the phone about those matters. Remember, if you are ever in trouble and need help, before we're able to move, just message us first. I'm afraid other people could not be very trusted. From Stephen and Sarah.
So, couple things. One, it's very clear that Christine didn't, well, more than a couple, didn't read the message at all. That at all. Because, you know, she showed it on there. Two, kind of understandable, almost. Because, you know, it's like, oh, again, an unboxing, I could see why you'd want to live unbox it. Although she didn't do it live, she did it on a video. She could have edited that part out. So actually, yeah, no, I think it's wrong that she did that. Unless this was live. I don't think it was live. I think it was a video. Three, though, like, it's a little, I will say, you know, you also signal boosted it as well, Gino. But I guess this was years ago. This was released, I don't know, somewhat recently, 5 months ago, and this happened in 2019, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Christine, you're a silly goose. What are you doing? But okay.
Heart, lightning heart. Christine shortly deleted the video
Oh, that's
before
good.
uploading it again, unaltered.
Well, you should have fucking...
From recent developments, it seemed that some individuals were very willing to spend their time and money to attempt to help Christine
Maybe.
in some way, seeing her as a hapless victim in an unfortunate environment surrounded
That is
by
true.
hate. They regrettably did not realize.
I wonder, and I guess we will learn this as time goes on, I wonder if that's what it is, or if it's like a really weird, elaborate, cruel joke from like a troll. Because I absolutely could see somebody doing that, being like, oh, let's pretend that we're going to move to Virginia and buy her a thing so that we can get like closer to her and fuck with her. You know, some of these people probably have too much money on their hands, and I wouldn't doubt it. Something like that would happen. But I guess we'll find out as time goes on. Oh.
That, not unlike Chris herself, they failed to learn from mistakes of the past and hoped against
Why is this
hope
boss so
for a
fucking
well-intended
difficult?
but doomed to fail brighter future.
Hey. Wow. Incredible stuff. Well, there we go, guys. We finally did it. We finally got back into a little bit more Christian. What did you guys think? It's been 3 months. Let's see if I'm in here. I'd be under the P. I'm right here, Papa Gut. Right close to Poop Bro 420. So pretty cool stuff.